Minasan, konnichiwa. Welcome to Nihongo.
Welcome to another lesson. In this video, we will learn the vocabulary list of the Minna no Nihongo Lesson 3. じゃあ、始めましょう。ここ、ここ、そこ、そこ、あそこ、あそこ、どこ、どこ、こちら、こちら、そちら、そちら、あちら、あちら、どちら、どちら、教室、教室、食堂、食堂、事務所、事務所、会議室、会議室、受付、受付、ロビー、ロビー、部屋、部屋、トイレ、トイレ、or the polite way is お手洗い、お手洗い、階段、階段、エレベーター、エレベーター。Make sure to extend the long vowel sound. エスカレーター、エスカレーター。国、国。会社、会社。うち、うち。電話、電話。靴、靴。ネクタイ、ネクタイ。ワイン、ワイン。タバコ、タバコ。売り場、売り場。For example, wine 売り場 or where wine are sold, or camera 売り場 where cameras are sold. 地下、地下。For example, basement 1 is 地下1階 or basement 2 is 地下2階。階、外、階。So this is a suffix attached to any floors. For example, first floor is 1階, second floor is 2階, third floor is 3階, and so on. 何階, 何階. So notice that the N sound becomes NG sound because it is followed by a K sound. 何階. N, N. For example, 1円、10円、1000円。いくら、いくら。If you want to ask how much is it, you say いくらですか。100、100。100 is 100. 200 is 200. 300 is 300, and so on. 1000, 1000. 1000 is 1000. 2000 is 2000. 3000 is 3000. 万、万。10,000 is 1万. 20,000 is 2万. 30,000 is 3万. すみません。すみません. Or sometimes you could hear this as すいません. simasen. So this is a very useful phrase for calling attention. For example, if you are in a restaurant and you want to call the attention of the waiter or the waitress, you just say simasen. If you are passing by to a crowded place, you can also say simasen, simasen. Also, sumimasen can also mean sorry. If you bump into someone, you can say simasen. You might also remember another phrase which is shitsure desu ga, which also means excuse me. But the difference between sumimasen and shitsure desu ga is that shitsure desu ga is when you're asking for personal information about a person. So if you're asking for their name or their age or their address or any personal information, you say shitsure desu ga, onamae wa? Excuse me, what's your name? Because shitsure actually means to be rude. So this might be rude, but so that's the literal meaning of shitsure desu ga. So I hope that's clear, the difference between sumimasen versus shitsure desu ga. De gozaimasu. De gozaimasu. This is the very polite form of the word des. So you would usually hear this in a very formal situation. For example, a speech or an interview, or when a salesperson is talking to a customer. But on a normal conversation, just use des or da. O misete kudasai. Nani nani o misete kudasai. So the o particle is attached to the object of the verb, which is misete, which means show me, and kudasai is please. So please show me something. For example, これを見せてください. Please show me this. じゃ. So this means, well then, or well, okay then, in that case, じゃあをください. 何々をください. Give me something, please, or blank, please. For example, water, please. 水をください. Mizu means water, followed by the particle o, and then ください. Or this could also mean, please give me this. これをください. Now, let's review. ここ、そこ、あそこ、どこ、こちら、そちら、あちら、どちら、教室、食堂、事務所、会議室、受付、ロビー、部屋、トイレ、お手洗い、階段、エレベーター、エスカレーター、国、会社、うち、電話、靴、ネクタイ、ワイン、タバコ、売り場、地下、階、外、何回、円、いくら、100、1000、万。すみません。でございます。を見せてください。じゃあ、 o kudasai. Okay, so those are the words for this lesson. For the grammar explanation of this lesson, in this video we will learn new Japanese grammar from the Minna no Nihongo textbook, lesson 3. If you're ready, let's begin. In this lesson, we will learn the following grammar points. The first grammar points are words that describe places or position of objects. For example, koko, here, soko, or there. Asoko, over there. Koko describes the place where the speaker is. Soko is a little bit far from the speaker, and asoko is very far from the speaker. The polite way of saying koko is kochira. For soko, it's sochira, and for asoko, it's achira. These words also means this way or this direction. For example, this way is kochira, that way or that direction is sochira, and that direction over there or that way over there is achira. And the very casual way of saying these words are kochi or koko, sochi or soko, achi or asoko. Next is the grammar pattern N1 wa, N2, which is a place, followed by des, N1 wa, N2 des. If you remember, we learned this pattern in the very first lesson. So this explains where a place, a thing, or a person is or is located. N1 is on or in N2. For example, the restroom is over there. Restroom or bathroom is toire. N1 wa, toire wa, asoko, over there. Toire wa asoko desu. The restroom is over there. Or the polite way of saying toire is otearai, and the polite way of saying asoko is achira. So if you want to be more polite, you say otearai wa achira desu. Next example is the computer section is on the first floor. If you are in a department store and you're looking for the computer section, you say pasokon uriba. Pasokon is computer, uriba is the department or section, or where they sell computers. Pasokon uriba wa, on the first floor. If you check the vocabulary list for this lesson, you would remember that on the first floor or first floor is ikkai. So to complete the sentence is pasokon uriba wa ikkai desu. Third example, Miss Saito is in the conference room. Saito-san. Saito-san wa, conference room is kaigishitsu. So the sentence goes like, Saito-san wa kaigishitsu desu. You can also say this in another pattern. Saito-san wa kaigishitsu ni imasu. It's the same meaning. Saito-san is in the conference room. But you would learn that pattern in lesson 10. So for the meantime, you can also say, someone wa place this. Someone is in this place. Next are the words doko, which means where, or dochira, which is the polite way of saying doko, or it also means which way. So if you want to ask the question, where is N, or which way is N, the pattern is en wa doko, or dochira desu ka, en wa doko desu ka, or en wa dochira desu ka. For example, where is the toilet? Let's use the N1 wa doko or dochira desu ka pattern. N is toilet. Toire. Toire wa doko desu ka? Asoko desu. It's over there. So you don't have to repeat toire wa asoko desu. You just say asoko desu. It's there. It's over there. Another example, which way is the conference room? So conference room is kaigishitsu. Kaigishitsu wa which way? Dochira. Kaigishitsu wa dochira desu ka? Which way is the conference room? It's that way. Sochira desu. So this pattern N1 wa doko desu ka can also be used to ask the name of the country, company, or school a person belongs to. For example, the question, where are you from? Or what country are you from? Country is kuni. So, kuni wa dochira desu ka? So I use the polite way of where, which is dochira. Kuni wa dochira desu ka? Another way of asking this question is, doko kara kimashita ka? So where are you from? It's the same meaning. Another question is, what is the name of your school? Gakko, which is school. Gakko wa doko desu ka? So literally this means where is the school? But depending on the conversation, the speaker might be asking the name of your school. Another example is, what company do you work for? Kaisha wa. So company is kaisha. Kaisha wa dochira desu ka? The literal meaning of this is, where is the company? Next is N1 no N2. So this pattern appeared in both lesson 1 and lesson 2. So there are other uses for this pattern. The first one is N1, which is a country, no N2, product, which means N2 is made in N1. For example, Italian shoes. So N1 is Italia or Italian. Shoes or N2 is kutsu. So Italian shoes in Japanese is Italiano kutsu. Next, N1 could be a company. No N2, product. N2 is made by N1 or the company. For example, Apple smartphones. So the company is Apple no smartphone. Apple no smartphone or Apple smartphones. And lastly, N1 could be unknown. So how do we ask where a product is made or which company made a certain product? For example, where is this bag made or who is the maker of this bag? This or kore or this bag kono kaban. Kore wa doko no kaban desu ka? Where is this bag made? Kore wa doko no kaban. So doko is unknown. So N1 is unknown. So we replace the company or the country with doko. Doko no kaban desu ka? So if you're getting confused about N1 no N2 pattern, just think of N1 as the owner. So the first word is always the owner and followed by no and then N2. So N2 is always the object or the person that belongs to N1. So the owner should always comes first. So for example, IBM no kaishain, IBM's employee, or my bag, watashi no kaban. Italian shoes, Italian no kutsu, and so on. So next is just a summary of all the demonstrative words that we have learned so far. So some of them will begin with ko or this, either a thing or a person, or so, which means that thing or a person, or a thing or a person, or and the question starts with do. For example, this thing, kore, or this thing or person, kono noun, kono kaban, kono hito, or this place, koko, or this direction, kochira. For so or that thing, sore. That thing or person, sono noun, sono enpitsu, sono hito. That place, soko, or that way or that direction, sochira. And for the a or that over there column, that thing over there, are, or that thing or person over there. For example, ano hito, ano kaban, ano home, ano camera. Okay, and that place over there, asoko, or that way over there, achira. And lastly, the column do, which means what or where or which. For we haven't learned the words dore or dono noun, so they just mean which. But we've learned the word doko, which means where or what place, and dochira or which direction or which way. Lastly, the prefix o, which shows politeness. For example, where are you from? Or what country are you from? So we've learned how to say this sentence, which is N1 wa doko desu ka? Kuni wa dochira desu ka? So dochira is the polite way of saying doko. If we want to be more polite, we add o before the word kuni. O kuni wa dochira desu ka? You would also hear this in the sentence, what's your name? Namae is the word for name. So you add o before the word namae. Onamae wa nan desu ka? What's your name? How old are you? How old is oikutsu? Oikutsu desu ka? Ikutsu by itself means how many. The casual way to say oikutsu is nansai. Nansai desu ka? Notice that we don't have the word you or your, which is anata or anata no in the Japanese sentences, because it is already obvious that you are asking about the person you are talking to. So just like how we dropped watashi, for example, Rose desu, I'm Rose, but I don't say watashi wa Rose desu because it is already obvious that I'm talking about myself. So same thing here, you don't have to put anata all the time if it's obvious. But if you want, you can say for the first example, anata no kuni wa dochira desu ka? For the second example, anata no namae wa nan desu ka? And for the third one is, anata wa oikutsu desu ka? If you really want to say the word you or your. Okay, so let's review the grammar points that we've learned today. The first one is the demonstrative words or words that describes the position or location of a thing, object, or a person, which are koko, soko, asoko, kochira, sochira, achira. The second grammar point that we've learned is en1 wa en2 or place des. So this describes the position of an object or a person or a place. For example, kaban wa asoko desu. The bag is over there. Okay, we also learned how to ask the question where is noun or which way is something. En wa doko desu ka? En wa dochira desu ka? Next, n1 no n2 or n2 is made in or by noun 1. And next are the demonstrative words that starts with ko, so, a, and do. For example, koko, soko, are, dochira, and so on. And lastly, the prefix o, which shows politeness. Onamae, okuni, oikutsu. So that's it for today's lesson. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or clarifications, please comment down below. And don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss any of the future lessons. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the